Welcome to the Morning DNA, officially the first episode for August 19th, 2020. I am Aaron Dicer, the man in a single black shirt, and she is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions, and we're here to find out what today is made of. How you doing, Danae?
What a great introduction.
Oh, thank you.
Did you plan that?
It's been rolling around in my brain.
Man, that was good.
Oh, thanks.
It's almost like you've done this a couple of times or something.
Well, I'm a little bit probably too polished and professional. I need to loosen. Like, we're live streaming now, right? Like, it's got to get a little bit looser.
Well, that's why we're a good balance. I am that chaos.
Yes, absolutely. We are live to several people already watching, joining us, commenting as well. We are live on YouTube. At the Aaron and Danae YouTube page. We are live at the morningDNA Twitter, the Aaron and Danae Twitter, or Periscope, as it were. And we are live to my Twitch as well.
Yeah. And we can do more eventually once we have the millions.
Yes, yes. Danae, I'm going to go ahead and put my headphones on. Look at this.
This is a big deal.
Wearing the headphones.
You don't like wearing headphones if you can avoid it.
It gives me, because here's the thing: the cord. It's the cord.
Oh,
it's like I know it doesn't weigh anything, but I feel like like it's tilting me over. Anyways, welcome to Rui, who says hi. Lauren says hi. My Journey Gaming says hi. Amon Reviews.
Sweet chicken, sir. Handquake.
Mon Reviews and stuff says, I just got done watching Hereditary, so this should cool me down. Good night.
Oh, no.
This is, I guess, maybe.
Well, this is where your knowledge of movies helps you, but hurts me because I don't know what that means.
It is not a movie you ever want to watch.
Okay. Okay.
It is very scary.
And
purposefully dark and depressing and nihilistic and... Yes.
What a way to... and we don't know, though, if it's starting the day for Amon or if it's like the end of the day.
That's true. We really don't know where you are. We are in the morning, and that's why we call it Morning DNA. But, of course, you could be anywhere in the world. Tom says, good morning. Good morning to Tom as well. Appreciate you hanging out with us here. Throughout the live broadcast, we will be reading your comments, possibly posting your comments. We may be posting your comments without even acknowledging them, just as a way to kind of see what's going on in the chat. That kind of stuff, but it's kind of one of those things where we get to kind of have a fun time with you, hanging out in the morning. That's what we're here for.
We did our test run just a couple of days ago, and it went pretty well. We're really excited, so we're like, hey, let's just go ahead and jump in and do like our official first broadcast day.
Mm-hmm.
And holy crap, was it hard for you to get down to the microphone today or into your studio today?
No, not really.
Man, my child was like hell-bent on making this the most difficult thing ever.
So talk about that a little bit. Let's start. Here's generally we'll just
parenting?
Have we'll have a little chit chat at the beginning, then we'll kind of get into some more purposeful topics, that kind of stuff. Or I will. Danae is just here. She'll just do whatever she wants to do.
I might just walk out. I don't know.
If you don't know our structure, this is our structure. Aaron plans. Danae exists. And honestly, I think she does the better job at the two of those things. So
I don't know.
But anyways, yeah. What's going on with parent? Like, is parenting hard or something? I wouldn't know.
No, it's so easy. I think the hardest part with Iris, my child, is that I try to give her as much time as she needs to just like hang out and like get acclimated to leaving, and then. Now that we're doing this again, it's like, no, you're on mom's timeline. So I have to kind of push her a little bit quicker, and she pushes back. So today the struggle was, and I don't want to spend all of the time talking about the struggles of parenting, but it's still interesting to me that her big hang up today was where I placed her crackers in her tray, like her little, we're going to go to the car.
Right?
Here's your snack. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I put them into the container, and she's just like, no, that is not what we're doing. And then when I asked her to explain, okay, well, where do you want the crackers? Because I don't care if you're picky about where you want your crackers. Like, I'm not going to get hung up on that issue.
Right.
She still could not express like what it was. So after a few minutes of this, like, we got to go, babe. And then it was like meltdown time after that.
Yeah.
It was straight up toddler, like, meltdown, crying,
It
no, we
happens,
can't
man.
leave.
It happens,
You know,
especially at that age.
she got between me and the door and was pushing me back into the house. The crackers, which she had in her hand. You know, it's
My
like, I don't
kingdom
understand.
for the properly placed crackers.
But it was a struggle, and I feel bad about that because, you know, then you have to like get your kid out the door when they're in a hot mess and not in a state of peace.
We have our first Twitch comment.
Hey, awesome.
So it looks like, I think that's Frank,
Hey,
judging by
moldy
the
maker.
avatar. Frank, thanks for hanging out from Twitch. We appreciate you kind of hanging out with us this morning. Yeah, my morning was a little more just kind of typical. My kids are older, so I don't have the meltdowns like that anymore. We have more of just the serious conversations every once in a while. But yeah, I did some Pilates this morning. So
Wait, really?
yeah, I tried. Turns out my hip bones are a little too sharp, and the pain of them pressing into the floor was a little much for me.
I don't think that hip bones are sharp, Aaron.
They are in the back, like right at the back of the pelvis.
They're literally curved.
No. There's 2 points at the back of the pelvis on either side that if you're trying to like roll up on them, like at my weight especially, like it's just like, okay, they're going to, crumble now, is what it feels like.
Like you found the one spot that if you press it, it just dissolves.
Yes, exactly.
I'm impressed that you tried Pilates. I thought you were just like a running treadmill dude.
I do love running. I'd like to lose a little more weight before I start running again. So I've been walking, riding my bike. Bike is really fun right now. So that's kind of how I'm getting my exercise. But yeah. You want to shoot a doe? Let's shoot a doe.
Yeah, man. Let's do this thing.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out. We're each going to kind of bring a topic to the table, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end, kind of what's going on in your life. What do you want to hear us talk about? Feel free to go ahead and ask that stuff now. We can pop it up whenever.
Ooh, yeah, you guys could tell us topics. It's not just from our mind.
Yeah, anything like in the news that you want us to talk about, any topic that's been on your brain, that kind of thing.
We reserve the right to not. We'll skip. Well, we will.
Correct.
We potentially will skip.
It is an AMA Ask Me Anything, but it may not be an AMA Answer Me Anything.
We're not obligated.
That's right. Mariella says hello. Hello, Mariella. I'm glad to have you here hanging out with us this morning. I felt very like morning radio there for a second. Hey, Mariella, how are you doing?
How are you today?
Hope you're having a good day.
Hope you're feeling well.
Danae, you want to kick us off? What'd you bring to the table today?
I brought the subject of houseplants to the table today because I've always wanted to be a houseplant person, but there's this particular type of houseplant. Most people probably know. It's called the philodendron, and it's pretty much the plant that you can't kill because even if you forget to water it for a minute, it'll be okay. And it's also like you can stick it in the sun, but it can also not be in the sun and it'll be okay. So it's a really good basic plant that you can kind of have for your home. But I've always wanted to be the kind of person that has houseplants that are more complicated than a philodendron. But wanting that and doing that are two separate things because it requires the next level of adult responsibility, which I am still learning.
Yeah.
Like,
or you could just stop learning and just give up and just know you're not that kind of person. That's what happened at our house eventually. I think my wife a little bit still harbors the idea of, we could have a plant, but we can't. I mean, the best case scenario is like an outdoor, shrubbery area around the front of the house where nature takes care of them and we don't have to take care of them. And that's about the best we're going to get. So
you're going to be so proud of me because I went to this greenhouse to find these plants and there were so many options. And I put back like 4 that I wasn't sure if I had.
You put back 4 whose lives were not ready to end yet. You're like, live a little longer, guys. Live a little longer. There
was a couple that were so beautiful. And I just I literally did that. I imagined them withering away. And I just don't want to be responsible for your death. So I didn't. I picked a couple that the guy said that I should be able to manage with water. And that's about it. So that's good.
If you give this plant water once every week or so, you should be okay. Still dead in 3 weeks.
Oh my God, no. We're going to
Danae
come up.
barely kept bamboo alive. Like, let's just be clear
Yo,
here.
hey, that's rude. That bamboo, I don't know why that bamboo died. I think that bamboo died of bad vibes.
I think that's when you give up. If you can't keep bamboo alive, you give up. Like,
Wait,
right?
I still have that bamboo. There were 3 shoots. One died at the radio station. Again, that could have been due to some vibes going on or sabotage.
Okay, fair enough.
And the other one just died, like, it's died a year ago, but it has like this shoot that came off of it. So I think it like gave its life for its child. But I still have it. I can prove it. I can go get it right now.
No, you're good. You're good. I believe you. And it's alive?
It's alive, man.
You still got to shoot. One
Still,
shoot out of 3.
It's still there.
All right.
So I just wanted to defend myself there for a minute. I got a succulent that needs little to no attention, apparently. And then I have this big leafy house plant it's not a tree, but it's a very hardy, thick one. That's the one I'm a little worried about, but I'm gonna do my best. Yeah. And then I got one that like goes to the wall. But the one that I wanted to tell you about today is the fern that we were given as a housewarming present from a guest that came to the house recently.
When was that?
About a month ago, maybe.
Okay.
And I have never had a fern before. So I took to Instagram and posted that my excitement because I really wanted to get something leafy that went in this particular corner. And then
you should dig like a trench for it, like a fern gully of some sort, where you could continue.
Okay, first of all, I love that movie, but then also, what did you just do? Fern Gully. What a crazy movie. Anyway, so thank God for the friends on Instagram who told me like how to care for this thing. They said no direct light. And you need to keep the moist soil kind of a situation, not too wet, but low light. They love low light. And if you spray the leaves, they like that. But again, no direct sunlight because then it can burn the leaves. So the corner that I put it in during certain parts of the day when I apparently am not there.
Oh, can I guess? Direct sunlight?
Beams. So then I go over there yesterday and I'm like, hey, buddy, you're not looking so good. My poor fern, like the edges of the little leaves are just like literally black from laser beam sun on it. So I had to move. I hope it survives. It's still mostly green. So anyway, houseplants was my combo.
I'm never giving you a mogwai. I'm never, because you're going to turn them into a gremlin quickly. Like, there's like one rule with this plant. No direct sunlight. And you're like, I'll put it here by a window.
I really thought it would be okay there, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyway. Like, like when you close the window and there's those little circles where the string kind of goes through and sun can kind of come through those circles. It was like that, like concentrated laser beams at the fern. I feel bad, but I hope it'll be okay. It's now in the bathroom. So
its final resting place.
It'll be traumatized in whole new ways.
Maybe you need to name your plants. Would that help? Like if you named your fern, would it give it more like, would you feel more protective of it?
Okay, I'm going to go to Instagram because there was a name that was recommended to me that I have to make sure that I get this correct. So I'm going to go to Instagram while you read a comment.
Amelia says, yeah, my desk was a succulent graveyard at one point.
I learned that succulents, which I thought you could just like stick somewhere and not think about, they apparently have to be outside. There's only one that can be inside comfortably. The rest really need to be outdoors in the heat. So that's why I chose not to bring mostly succulents home because I don't know that I'm going to go outside.
Nick says orchids are easy to take care of. So there's another plant you could challenge your ability to kill things with.
I don't know why, but I don't believe you, Nick. Are you trolling me right now?
It's possible.
Because
Sweet Chicken Sir has a good name.
To take care of.
Sweet Chicken Sir says you should name it Jules Fern. I like that. Or Fern Troyer, maybe.
Okay. So shout out to Lucas Mattel Duval, who was the one who gave me the incredible fern advice.
Okay.
And decided to name it the Divine Dicer.
What? What is that? Wait. So you can kill me? Now all of a sudden I'm involved. Now all of a sudden, like, I'm protective of this fern. Why does it have my name? No, you can't do that. I don't want to be one of Danae's ferns. That's awful. That's like my version of sharks. Like, don't make me one of Danae's plants.
The other thing that's interesting too is that Iris was helping me to water all of the plants.
Mhm.
We were having this whole like learning about soil, and she was spraying, and we're like wiping down some of the leaves that had this waxy buildup from the place where we bought the plants, et cetera, et cetera. And she decided she wanted to name the plant. So she renamed the fern Daddy. I mean, super clever name for a 3-year-old, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So Daddy died, or Daddy's dying. No, actually,
Mommy, you killed Daddy. Somewhere a policeman's ears perk up. What?
What?
What is going on here? All right. I'm going to talk about competition today. There's a story in the news. Your husband probably has talked about this, or maybe it's filtered into your world. But in the world of baseball, there was a player that hit a grand slam on a 3-0 count. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically he had 3 balls and no strikes. And there's an unwritten rule in baseball that you don't swing on a 3-0 pitch.
Wait. I'm confused already.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead and ask your questions, because I want you to understand what happened here, because I do want your opinion.
No strike.
Correct.
Okay, the first thing that popped into my head was that he had 3 balls on his person somewhere, like in his pocket. And then I remembered.
In his pocket, huh, Danae? In his pocket? That was the first thing?
3.
Your brain
of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no. Uh-huh.
Thank you, Aaron, for the derailing and the really awkward visual. Appreciate that. So no, and then I realized that ball is whenever you swing the bat and you miss, but because the pitcher didn't throw it in the right area, you basically aren't getting a strike.
That was wrong. What you just said was wrong.
I mean, dang it.
What you just said was wrong, but
you
were close. The batter can't swing. If the batter swings, it's a strike. But if the batter doesn't swing and it's not in the right place, it's a ball. It was very close. You were very
So
very
he can't
close.
swing at it.
No, you cannot swing. If you swing and you miss, it's a strike no matter where it is.
So the person that's hitting the ball, what do they call the hitter?
The batter, sure.
The batter has to have the right eye to be able to look at it and know if it's in the zone or not.
Right. And then take a swing and hope to hit it.
Yo, guys, I don't want you to get too excited. I will forget all of this in like 12 seconds.
So he had taken 3 pitches that weren't in the strike zone. And so one more of those, and he gets to walk to first base. That's called a walk, right? So there's an unwritten rule in baseball that if you're in that position and you don't have any strikes, you don't swing at the next one. Because if it's a ball, you'll go to first base. And if it's a strike, you've still got, other
2
pitches.
more strikes to go.
Yeah, you've 2 more strikes to go.
So you get a freebie, essentially.
The bases were loaded, and he decided to swing at it, and he hit a home run and hit a grand slam.
Okay, what's a grand slam?
When you hit a home run where every base has a person on it. So it's worth four runs, because there's 3 people on base plus you.
Man, that's way lamer than I thought it was going to be.
What did you think a grand slam was?
The bases are loaded. That sounds cool. But then you're like, ew, and a grand slam. And I'm like, okay, that's something different. So then I was thinking that maybe the ball went to a very specific area, out there in the world, and maybe hit something, and that's called a grand slam.
Yes, there's a grand slam circle in center field that if you can hit the ball right in that circle, it's worth 20 runs. It's amazing. That would actually be really fun. I love that kind of stuff. I would love for basketball to have a 4-pointer and a 5-pointer, but that's me. So anyways, he wasn't supposed to do this, apparently, and the baseball world was like, what a bad sport, hitting a home run. I'm like, well, isn't the goal to compete? I think they were up like 10-3 at the time, and so they were already ahead by a bunch, and so there was this kind of attitude of, you're piling on, all that kind of thing. And I'm just like, if you're in competition and it's not against the rules, I make it a rule if you want it to be a rule. But so I was curious to pick your brain, because when you go see baseball games, you want everybody to end up in a tie. Like you're not a big fan of sports competition, right? Am I misstating?
No, I mean, that's true. I think it's just really hard for me to watch people get disappointed that they're trying their very, very best and it doesn't work. And it makes me sad.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, maybe if they all just sort of like win at the same time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about this, because they were already up by 7. It's kind of like now they're even sadder that they're down by, 11.
I don't know, but that for some reason that's hitting me weirdly, where it's like, but if the point is to win,
Yes,
Like
exactly.
if it was 30-7, I think that's different. But that's still to me close because it seems like that would be where the other team could catch up with a couple of really good plays, right?
It is not unheard of for a team to come back from being down
Right.
7.
So if it's still
That does
within
happen, yeah.
reason, then I don't think you just be like, we're going to ease up so that you can kind of catch up. But again, if I was watching it in person, I think I'd have a different opinion.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I think it got me thinking about competition. And I believe competition is a good thing in its proper context because competition teaches you how to be at your best and at the same time be respectful of a person that may have beat you at what you were trying to do and respectful of a person who you may beat. It goes both ways. You hear about being
Yeah.
a good winner and a good loser. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a valuable life skill because there is competition in the real world. There just is. So
I just think it's really ridiculous to like, so in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, um, you can have advantage and disadvantage on like certain rolls. So like the whole game is based on rolling a 20-sided dice, and then if you get a 20, your chances of success are really high. If you get a 1, your chances of failure are really, really, like you are probably failing. And so it seems to me like in this situation, they're asking that batter to roll with a disadvantage, to say, no, I'm not going to do my best. I'm just going to stand here and hope to get to first base. And then we get 1 run in, like instead of being like, man, I just rolled a natural 20. Like I just knocked that thing out of the park. And I don't know. That's what I think that's weird.
yeah.
Maybe this is why I don't watch sports though. Because there's also other baseball rules that Justin, my husband, has explained to me that I think are just so stupid. So
it is part of sports is figuring out what should be a rule, what shouldn't be a rule.
I just saw that comment about the eggs, like the Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yes.
so good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm totally
with you on that. I'm in agreement with you on that.
Although it's not my favorite Denny's dish.
What is the one at Denny's I like?
The moon's over my hammy is mine. Like that thing is, whew.
Oh man, there's something I really love at Denny's. It's been a long time since I've been to a Denny's. Yes, I'm in D&D brain too because I've been asked to DM my first game. So,
Danae switching to D&D in the middle of a discussion about sports is my hero and savior. Smiley face. Yes. Yeah, it's. I listen, it's one of those things where I think if it's competition, it's competition. Written rules, unwritten rules are ridiculous. If you want a rule, write it down. Otherwise, don't get mad at when people break it. So, it's just, for me, that's, I don't know. I thought it was worth talking about. Let's turn the show over to you. We've only got a few minutes left. We should take some questions. Well, go ahead.
I did want to say something too, like in softball, because my husband plays softball, but he plays like it's not perfect, like not where they're competing like in big competitions or whatever it's called in sports world.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have some rules where you don't go overboard when there's a big difference in the number. But that's more like community sports. I think if you're on a professional level for sports, people want to see what you can do. And
no, those unwritten rules are all through sports. The idea of not piling on is a big thing. And I get it. There's a sportsman element to it.
How
but
is
here's
it
the thing.
piling on?
This is what I'm saying. Here's the thing. Make a mercy rule then. Have a mercy rule. If you don't want people to pile on, once a team is up by so many, end the game, they win. You know what I mean?
I thought you meant where like the team actually cries, mercy!
Yes.
Mercy, God, please.
That would make the rules so much more interesting if somebody on the team had to come out with a white flag and just say, mercy!
Yeah, like some sort of like pirate parlay situation.
Yes.
I'm so down with that.
Yes. All right, I'm going to search through here for, there were some good questions. This is one of those things about trying to go back and find questions.
Yeah, and you know I can't click on the questions as they come in either. So we'll have fun.
You're not necessarily a movie person, but this is an interesting question. Nick says, good morning. With AMC theaters opening up in most places this and next week, are you excited to go back to the theaters? Are you in the wait and see side of things? I think with what I'm hearing right now, I'm still kind of wait and see, but it annoys me how much a medical situation has become a political discussion. And like even tiptoeing into this, I'm like feeling nervous about like
Yeah.
who am I going to upset and what? But from my perspective, I watch the statistics of new cases, and I watch the statistics of percent of increase of new cases to find out like where hotspots are, those kind of things. And I think for me, it really is. We live in such a big country that we kind of live in multiple different areas that should be doing different things depending on the information for that area. And this has been an awful situation all around, lots of life lost. And I just think I am encouraged in many ways by the numbers I'm starting to see nationwide, but those numbers don't mean as much as what's happening locally. Locally for us, we are starting to be kind of in a medium hotspot, and I'm concerned locally that we are headed towards our peak probably soon, and then we'll come down. So I'll probably wait and see how we're doing locally and if it continues to increase and that kind of thing. But I think everywhere's going to have a peak, and you just kind of have to, for me, wait for your peak. Having said that, wear your mask is not a political statement. Right now we all should be wearing masks outside, right? Like that. I mean, I know some people think it is, but it's not. It's just common courtesy. So
For me, I'm a little different. I do that as well, where I watch cases, but I really look at what the company is doing. So, like for example, the hair salon, which I haven't been back to the hair salon, and I don't intend on going back to the hair salon because I don't feel like I need to. I'm just letting my hair grow. I have that option. But as an example, my hair salon released like 3 pages of what they're doing to protect their clients. And like my chiropractor, going to visit my chiropractor, seeing the measures that they're taking to make sure that everyone is safe. You stay in your car, they take your temperature, you wear a mask, they wipe everything down in front of you. She never takes off her mask, not even once. She wears gloves. So I watch those kinds of things, and I will feel safer for myself and my family if I see that a business or a company is taking care. And even as a family, my husband and I, as we've been thinking about like people coming over to our house that are beyond just like our family unit and a very core group of friends, we have open conversations with everyone that comes over. Like, hey, what are your social distancing patterns? Are you going back to large groups of people? And like, we just have those kinds of intrusive conversations because in this climate, it's not intrusive. It's just a normalized chat. So we've actually been thinking about releasing to our friends and anyone who wants to come to the house as we feel like we can kind of start to get back to normal. That's going to take a long time, but like about, please remember, we're trying to stay as far away from each other as we can and still chat. Don't assume that we want to hug or handshake. Wear a mask if you want to, but when you come in the door, we're running Nixol. We've wiped things down. So we're trying to let people know that they're safe to come to our house. But then we also reserve the right to say, please stay away. Like even for game night or something. Like if you have a cough, whether it's related to COVID or not, stay home, please. Even if you have allergies and you're sneezing, just stay home, please. It's a little bit less mental gymnastics. So
to
that's
answer
important to us.
the question directly, I may start going back to movies with Tenet, depending on the information and how AMC is doing things. And currently, it doesn't appear they're doing great with the social distancing, like enforcing. It looks like they're doing every other row, so you could literally be sitting next to somebody in your same row. So I have to do some more research. But for what I do, like there is an element of it that elevates it for me. But thankfully, I'm starting to get some of this. Like I've seen Unhinged that's coming out this weekend because I got a screener for it as a critic. So that may answer your question a little bit. Let's take just a couple more questions, even though we're a little bit over time. Tom says, how often will this be a thing? I love listening to you guys on the BTS podcast. It's great not only listen, but to see you this time.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate that.
We want to go every Monday for sure. And our goal is to do a couple times during the week since we're still kind of in test phase for everything. And as I mentioned, getting my child out of the house in the morning is not easy for me. We're going to keep experimenting. But the goal is every Monday, 9 a.m. Central, and then hopefully a couple other times sprinkled in. So wherever you guys choose to subscribe, please turn on your notifications. We will try to obviously tweet out when we go live. So it might seem a little bit random and last second to you. But if you hit the subscribe and the notifications, then you will be the first to know when we actually go live.
Eric says, what's your favorite recipe dish to make when you don't know what you want?
Ooh, that's a good question. Frozen pizza?
No, that's a great call. Grilled cheese for me. And we always have several different kinds of cheese lately in the house. So Munster is a great grilled cheese. So I do a little bit of Munster, some provolone, and some cheddar. And I usually try to do 4 or 5 slices between 2 pieces of bread. And it is delicious.
We have this thing in our house. Justin does our grocery shopping. He loves to grocery shop. It's a thing. And so I tell him whenever I need a new pizza, but he calls them vomit pizzas because I love the artisanal frozen pizzas that have like no preservatives, blah, blah, blah. And they're like covered in vegetables. So he hates them. I understand that, but I love them. They're like thin crust. And if I don't know what I want to do, man, I pop one of those things, then I'm having a good day. Oh, and I like to dip it into ranch dressing because you have to counteract all of the good food with ranch dressing.
Steven says, what do you guys think of the price of Mulan? Do you think it's too high or is it reasonable for the current situation? I'm firmly in the reasonable camp. I have no problem with this whatsoever. Have you guys thought about that at all today? Are you guys going to buy Mulan when it comes out in a couple weeks?
Didn't know this was a thing. So
Okay.
I just Googled it really fast. Probably if you're watching, you saw me move my little fingers there.
It's $29.99. Basically, what's interesting about it is you also have to be a subscriber to Disney Plus. So it's only going to be in Disney Plus, but then it's an extra $30 to see it early. And basically all you're doing is unlocking it early on Disney Plus.
I mean, if you're really passionate about content, then that's what you do. I don't know. I don't think it's too high personally, but I'm also not the person that goes to movie theaters or would choose to unlock Mulan early. Achievement unlocked. If it was a different movie, though, I would consider it, right? Like maybe if it was Star Wars or something like that, and I was really excited to see it, I can see my husband and I easily being like, yeah, let's pay $30. Let's get a babysitter. Let's pop some popcorn, make some food, and like have a fun movie night together. And this is something that's just sort of like a temporary situation. Hopefully, we're all going to be able to go back to the theaters someday, hopefully, and enjoy that kind of release. But personally, if they decided to do something where you can see it in theaters or you can watch it in your house for $30, even if I had a theater option, I think I would opt to watch it at home. That's me. So I would pay for that.
You also are co-bubbling with a family that has a pretty nice theater set up.
Oh my gosh.
That your family could, come
Yeah,
watch
the
it at,
Dicers have actually tried to recreate a theater in their basement. So and it's working
wonderful.
For you.
It is beautiful. Mariella, thank you. Says subscribed. Appreciate that. And then Lauren says, I clicked the bell.
Yee!
So we appreciate that. That way you'll get notifications for what's going on. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. We don't mind going a little bit over. In fact, as long as questions are coming in, we love hanging out with you guys. If this is something you enjoy, there are several things you can do, whether you're at Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube. Subscribe, click the notifications bell. I think they all actually have bells that you can click to make sure that you are...
Are they all belly?
I think, yeah. I think there's
I
some
don't
belly
remember what it
dancing
is
going
on Twitch.
I don't either, technically, but I think so. And as well as check out the membership for DNA. You can check that out at patreon.com/studiodna. There's membership not only to this show, and it supports this show, but it also supports a podcast network that you might be interested in. Lots of fun podcasts there as well. So that's patreon.com/studiodna. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. We'll maybe be back again this week. Again, the goal is just to pop in when we feel like it and have fun conversations. So we will see you then. Is that how we end it? How do we end it? We should figure out a way to end it. Danae, what's a good way to end it?
Bye.
I love it.
Have a great day, guys.